Ruan Mei is officially here and she is insane. So she's our newest 5-star Harmony character and her kit is unfathomably loaded. She's able to increase your teammates' speed, their damage, their all-type resistance penetration, and most importantly, allow them to break the enemy's toughness a lot quicker thanks to her providing weakness break efficiency to the party, which is completely different from break effect and has only been something obtainable within the simulated universe, but is finally being added to Honkai Star Rail to Ruan Mei's kit. She's literally so stacked that she may even be comparable to Bronya, but I'll leave that up for you all to decide during this guide video. This video will be divided into different sections where we cover her best light cones, traces, relics, eidolons, and even team comps. So make sure to subscribe as we will be continuously releasing new guide videos for all future characters to be released. Alright, so kicking things off with the light cones, we have of course her signature 5-star, past, self, and future. If you're honestly thinking about pushing out extra stellar jades, this is a phenomenal option because at only S1, it's able to increase the wearer's break effect by 60%. That's a third of what you need. You'll end up wanting at least 180% break effect minimum when building Ruan Mei, and we'll explain that in just a moment once we get over to the traces. This light cone also allows you to increase all allies' damage by 24%, lasting 3 whole turns, which is quite a long time. And if you're able to get above 150% break effect, which should be easily able to do, you're also able to recover 1 skill point. And if that wasn't enough, each wave will give 10 energy to all allies. Like, holy, 4 different benefits all jammed into 1 light cone. It's insane, dude. Next up, there's always the tried and true Harmony light cone option, which is Bronya's. Energy regen increased, skill point recovery acquired, and increasing damage for the next ally taking action after you use your skill. Now, do keep in mind, it may seem kind of meh because you'll need to speed tune your Ruan Mei to make sure your DPS is going after her. And you're only going to be using Ruan Mei's skill every like 3 or 4 turns anyways, because your rotation is going to be E into auto attack, auto attack, auto attack into your E. So take that what you will. Personally, after the signature 5-star light cone, I'd recommend Memories of the Past as a free-to-play option. You're increasing your break effect to almost 60% at S5, 56%, which is a third of what you'll end up needing, while also gaining energy whenever you attack, making it a perfect light cone for you to try and keep your ult up as frequently as possible. And even if you have no refinements for this light cone, you're still receiving a generous 28% break effect and 4 energy per hit. So I'd say it's better than nothing. This is definitely going to be the best free-to-play option, 4-star in my opinion. Last up, if you don't have any of those options that we just listed, I'd recommend Meshing Cogs if you have no available other options. Super easy to get it to S5 because it is a 3-star, and it's practically the same as Memories of the Past in terms of flavor text. The only difference is you're not getting the break effect, but you are still receiving that 8 extra energy for your ultimate whenever you attack or if you end up getting hit. Okay, jumping over to the traces, I want to go over which ones I think you should prioritize first. Starting with the skill, which you'll basically be keeping up indefinitely anyways, it's a buff called Overtone, which when active, all allies' damage will be increased by a certain percentage depending on your trace level, along with weakness break efficiency by 50%. Again, just a reminder, this is completely different than break effect, and if you guys have played Simulated Universe, weakness break efficiency allows you to break an enemy's toughness bar with fewer attacks. So for example, say it took you like 5 attacks to break the enemy's toughness, now it may only take like 3 of those same attacks because of the weakness break efficiency Ruan Mei is providing you. Really good. After her skill ability, and these two can go hand in hand depending on you, I focus either on the talent or her ultimate. So her ultimate deploys a field for 2 turns that increases all allies, all type res penetration by a certain percentage. It also applies something called Thanatoplum Rebloom to enemies when an ally attacks them. And Thanatoplum Rebloom basically just extends the enemy's weakness break whenever they try to recover, and delaying their action based off of Ruan Mei's break effect. They also can't have this effect reapplied until they have fully recovered from this weakness break. So to put it into simpler terms here, Ruan Mei ults, an ally breaks the enemy's toughness bar, which applies Thanatoplum Rebloom on them. There's also an indicator above their head just to let you know, to make it a little bit easier. And then the moment it's the enemy's turn to wake up, boom, they can't and pretty much get reset. So this is basically good at keeping enemies down so you can dish out more damage, especially if you're going up against an enemy like the Arumaton. God, I freaking hate those guys, right? God. Next up, we have her talent, which essentially stays up indefinitely. So Ruan Mei's talent provides speed buffs to all allies except for herself, and whenever an ally breaks an enemy's weakness, Ruan Mei deals damage based off of a certain percentage of her ice break damage, aka her break effect. I was able to get around 15 to 21,000 damage with Ruan Mei when I'm sitting around 180% break effect. So I'd say it's pretty good. If you want to go like a full break effect build, I'm talking like Thief and Talia, you might be able to do a little bit more, but we'll get into the relics and my recommendations in just a moment here. And also, speaking about the magical number 180 for that break effect, we're going to move over to our first bonus ability and the best bonus ability in my opinion, Candle Lights on Still Waters, which allows you to increase all allies' damage by 6% up to a maximum of 36% for every 10% of Ruan Mei's break effect that exceeds 120%. Basically, this means the cap is 180% break effect to receive the full 36% buff. And as long as you're keeping your skill up indefinitely, which should be easy to do, and you should be doing this, this is just more damage for your DPS, which will go a long way. So definitely the greatest bonus ability I've seen. Definitely try and hit that 180% break effect threshold if you guys are able to do that. Her other bonus abilities allow her to regenerate energy at the start of her turn and also increases break effect by 20% for all allies, which basically means more damage depending on your character type, or your DPS type, I guess, right? Character type. So for example, for physical, this means more bleed damage when you're breaking the enemy, and for quantum, it means more entanglement damage as well. So do keep those in mind. They are different. As for all these extra stat bonuses you see here, make sure you guys are unlocking all the speed and break effect stats. You can also gain these defense ones if you need more survivability, but you're essentially able to get up to a total of 5 speed and 32% break effect by just these little stat bonuses. That's definitely going to help out a lot when you're trying to reach that 180% threshold, like I've mentioned before. And lastly, her technique sets up her skill without consuming any skill points when entering battle. So it's basically a free skill on that. And in the simulated universe, with her technique active and active characters when attacking an enemy, they'll just completely regard the weakness type and still leave a dent into their toughness bar, or hell, maybe even break them altogether. So this is essentially like using Silverwolf's technique, but better in my opinion, because once you have Ruan Mei's technique active, and you say, for example, you're using Dawn Hung Ayal to attack an enemy who's not necessarily weak to imaginary, you get to actually break them anyways. It's really good if you're farming simulated universe, in my opinion. Just power creeping SW out here for that regard, right? Okay, now we've made it to the relics. I'm gonna throw out a lot of options, and these builds will change personally for you depending on how much break effect you'll need to obtain. Keep in mind, once again, you need 180% break effect, and your traces provide 32% of it. And depending on your light cone, you can get anywhere between 28% up to 60% depending on what you're running. So my ideal build for Ruan Mei is going to be a 4-piece messenger speed set, which increases my own speed as well as allies whenever I'm using my ultimate, and then a 2-piece broken keel for effect res, aka more survivability, while also simultaneously giving all my allies 10% more crit damage. With this build, and if you take a look at my stats, I was able to achieve that 180% break effect threshold, my 30% effect res threshold for broken keel, and still have a whopping 153 speed to boot while running the Memories of Past 4-star light cone. It is S5, but yes. Now jumping in, the main stats for each artifact will be HP for the head, attack for the hands, defense or HP in my opinion for the body piece so you can get more survivability, and speed for the boots. HP or defense for the sphere as well, and energy regen for the rope. And the reason why I chose energy regen for the rope and not break effect here is because you're able to get break effect as substats, but you cannot get energy regen. Energy regen is a rare gem, so I'd always recommend this for especially your support characters. If you are desperate and trying to get more break effect, we're going to get into that in just a moment. But for the substats here, I'd prioritize break effect into speed, into survivability like HP or defense, and then effect res, especially if you're running broken keel. You want to try and make sure you get that 30% threshold met so you can give all your allies 10% more crit damage. Now, if you are struggling to hit your 180% mark, then you can always substitute and run a 2-piece speed set into a 2-piece thief set. Thief set will basically provide you 16% more break effect. So there you go. Still having difficulties? Then you can always swap out for Talia, Kingdom of Banditry, over Broken Keel to provide you with a whopping 36% break effect as long as you are reaching that 145 speed, which should be easy to do. And if you're absolutely desperate, then you can always just run a 4-piece thief set, realistically speaking here, which will provide you with another additional, I believe it is 16%, right? Another additional 16%. In all honesty, either running a 4-piece messenger, a 4-piece thief, a 2-piece messenger, and a 2-piece thief, Broken Keel, Talia, or even Penacony, because if you guys remember, Penacony was one of the newest ones we got, energy regen and increasing damage for all other allies if they're the same type. So if you're running another ice DPS with your Ruan Mei, you could also pick this as a solid option. All of these that I just listed, in my opinion, are good, and it's going to be up to you to decide which one you'd like to run on your team and which one you'd like to run for your Ruan Mei, depending on your stats accordingly, and if you're hitting those thresholds for the relics, and especially the 180% break effect. On to the Eidolons now for all my whale watchers out there. I don't actually know if we have any whale watchers or not. If you're a whale, leave a whale emoji in the comment section below. I'd love to see it. Starting at E1, whenever her ultimate field is active, the damage dealt by all allies ignores 20% of the target's defense. Now, this is honestly huge and part of the reason why everyone loves that quantum artifact set so much, right? They're practically running it on every freaking character. If you were to try and fish for Eidolons, I definitely say E1 is a good enough stopping point in my opinion. Moving on to E2 here, while Ruan Mei is on the field, all allies will increase their attack by 40% when dealing damage to enemies with weakness break. I feel 70% of the time the enemy will have their weakness broken, especially because Ruan Mei is providing weakness break efficiency and delaying the enemy from recovering. So this is definitely a big Eidolon as well if you wanted to try and push for that. E4 gives Ruan Mei an extra 100% break effect when the enemy target's weakness is broken. Fair, good enough. And E6 extends the duration of the ultimate's field by an extra turn, so you go from what, 2 to 3. Not bad, while simultaneously increasing the talent's break damage multiplier by 200%. Also, not bad. All right, so team comps in question. Honestly, Ruan Mei is such a stacked Harmony character that you can genuinely run her in any team comp and mix and match her relics to cater to whichever team you're running her in. Jing Liu DPS, for example, you can run Jing Liu, Ruan Mei, Pella, and a sustained character. Kafka with Ruan Mei, go for it. Hell, even Su Shang with Ruan Mei. Su Shang was already great at breaking the enemy's toughness due to her multiple attacks, but now with Ruan Mei, it sounds even better, right? Ruan Mei, Su Shang, Hanya, sustain, yeah? The options in the list is honestly endless. She's a phenomenal Harmony character. You could literally throw her in any team comp and just mix and match all of your relics accordingly for whatever team comp you're running her in. All right, so the biggest question, would I pull? And now this is gonna be a big, absolutely coming from me. Out of everyone I've spoken to and seen play Simulated Universe, we all collectively agree that that weakness break efficiency card is easily top 3 to always take if you ever see it. And now Honkai Star Rail has a character that provides it outside of Sim Universe? Hell yeah, we take that, all right? We roll for that. Ruan Mei, in my opinion, will be such a great future-proofed character that will amplify any team comp you throw her in. Definitely a great investment pick as well for anyone who is still on the fence about her and if you're free to play. But that's pretty much all I have to say about Ruan Mei. Wait, did that rhyme? Say, Mei? Anyways, feel free to leave feedback down below on what you think of our first limited 5-star Harmony character and if you're rolling or not. Also, make sure to subscribe as we'll be releasing all new future character guides and join us over on Twitch if you have any more questions. That's pretty much it for now. I'll catch you guys in the next one.